Good evening, Gills fans. Welcome back to another episode of Gills in the Blood TV. It's Sunday night, but it's still Saturday afternoon. But you are watching our latest match day review show as the Gills picked up their first 3 points under Gareth Ainsworth. And it was that man finally makes his mark. Bradley Dack off the bench to score the winner, Stocky.
Yeah.
Just as we were all, the game was drifting towards a 0-0. I said to you, didn't I? I said, we've not had a last minute winner for what feels like years. I'm not saying I had any bearing on it, but my God, that felt good, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Such emotion at the end. Yeah, we've missed moments like that, and for it to be Bradley Dack the scorer as well, just sums it up. It's the cherry on top of the cake, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, in front of the Raynham as well. You cannot beat that feeling.
It makes watching that first half bearable.
Yes. So we'll start at 2 o'clock. Team news came in, and there were 3 changes from the draw at Chesterfield last Tuesday. Tate Holtam made his league debut, his full debut of any description, I think, for the Gills, replacing the injured Glenn Morris. And with Jake Turner out on loan at Dagon in Redbridge, Tate was given his chance. There was another change in the middle of the park. Johnny Williams dropped out of the squad completely, and Robbie McKenzie returned to partner Armani Little. And up top, Ewan Williams was charged with supporting Elliot Nevitt alongside Aaron Rowe. Let's just touch on that. I don't think it worked first half. Ewan Williams didn't look like he got enough of the ball before going off injured. It looked a bit lopsided, like it had when we was trying to play Jimmy J Morgan as a 10.
Yeah, and we get on to the second half, but I think it's no coincidence that we were the better team second half, and I think the change in the formation helped with that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also don't think the first half was helped by the amount of stoppages, which, you know, there's a few injuries early on, and I think that kind of set the tone for the rest of the first half, and that neither keeper had anything to do, did they, really?
No, I think it was, like you say, that in terms of, there was just a lot of MK Dons going down, wanting treatment, taking as long as they could. I said to you early on, it felt like they was playing for a point very, very early, which is an indictment, I suppose, of where they are in the league like us. But us being the home team, we were trying to make things happen, but there was just no quality from either team.
It's a totally different MK Dons teams to the ones that have historically come down before, the amount of ball retention and possession that they previously had. And yeah, this was a totally different outfit, and like you say, wasting time early on, and yeah, not really passing the ball and keeping possession of it, just looking to get from back to front with the direct ball more than anything.
Yeah, they looked to hit Scott Hogan quite early, didn't they? And I think it was, I can't remember his name, the other lad, the blonde-haired fella, was up front first half in support, but it was, like you say, it was a very un-MK Dons performance, like you say, compared to what we've seen for donkey's years under Carl Robinson and other managers. But in terms of that first half, because there's not a lot to talk about, they had one chalked off. Scott Hogan was a good 2 or 3 yards offside. There was no complaints from them. Alex Gilby drove one over the bar into the Raynham end a few minutes before half time, and Gills didn't really create anything. Got into good areas out wide, but delivery wasn't good enough, or sorry, here, isn't it? Or picked the wrong option. So yeah, let's talk about the second half. I mean, there was a change before the interval. Ewan Williams had to come off with what looked like a dead leg after a fairly robust challenge. He was replaced by Joe Bodie, and I said that might help us out because it gave us another outlet in terms of pace. It meant we could play a more natural system, because you could move Rowe into as a 10 and have a natural front 2. But it wasn't straight away that it really changed anything, did it? It probably wasn't until the introduction of Bradley Dack with 25 minutes to go. Yeah,
I agree with that, and I think Aaron Rowe was probably one of the highlights for us first half. You know, every time he got the ball, he's looking to run at him. Sometimes I think it did become a bit too predictable in the end, but the amount of times he was fouled in that first half as well must have been a good 3-4 times. And then I think he was just blowing when he was taken off for Dack, just due to lack of game time, really. Probably not used to playing that long, but yeah, it was another promising appearance for Rowe, considering he's not played much football.
It was, yeah, certainly in the early stages of the game. Like you say, he was running on fumes by the end. But again, I think we have to give credit to Gareth Ainsworth in terms of, number one, he's sticking to his word. He's giving everybody a chance in this squad. The likes of Dacky and Jaden Clark were back in the 18 today. There was obviously an extra space available for an outfield player because we had no substitute keeper. We laughed before the game and said surely it'd be Ollie Hawkins if anything did happen to Tate, purely because he's just massive and he can just head everything and probably won't use his gloves. But luckily it didn't come to that. But it was surely the most attacking bench ever in the history of Gillingham.
Definitely, like no defender, no keeper, just It's like the classic Kevin Keegan Newcastle team. We're just all out attack. We score one more than you.
Which we did.
Yeah.
Just it weren't 4-3.
Yeah.
But it don't matter. It's still 3
Win's
points.
a win.
Exactly that. So yeah, we made them changes midway through the half. Dacky came on for Rowe, and then there was a couple more changes. Joe Bode, we think, picked up another a knock, so he had to come back off. He was replaced by Ollie Hawkins, and the one we liked that you actually said, didn't you? You called it beforehand. You said, let's be brave, because Ramon Hutton's playing really high anyway. Just sacrifice him and tell Jaden Clark to be a wing back and just stay in the final third.
Yeah, no, definitely. Although Hutton was at the start right wing back, he was effectively playing as a right winger, and I'm guessing it was
almost central midfield at times, really, like you see in the Premier League. I'm not saying he did it as well as, you know, your Trents or your Kyle Walkers, but it certainly looked a little bit hybrid.
But it must have been, you know, part of the pre-match instructions, or certainly half-time introduction by Ainsworth, in that he's told Hutton to stay high, because even when MK Dons had goal kicks and stuff, he was staying high the whole time, and I just thought, if you get Jaden Clark on for Hutton, then
against the Tyring left back as well, and Tyring centre half, so we've had to work hard against Elliot Nevitt again, who unfortunately fed on scraps again today, but once again running himself into an absolute standstill. Brilliant work rate from the front. Good chances second half. Like, we've seen a few bits on social media coming out of the ground, and people saying it was a smash and grab, and I didn't feel it was a smash and grab. I felt there was only one side trying to win the football match second period.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's one of them where I don't think if we come out saying, oh, you know, how did we not win that? I wouldn't say it was that convincing, but it's one of them where if it was a boxing match, I think we would have won on points. Like,
yes, I think we'd have had our arm raised definitely by the referee. Yeah, we're not saying it should have been 3 or 4-0, and we've, you know, the keeper's made loads of stops, but if you run through it, we've had Max Clark's drilled one just wide of the post from the edge of the box. We've had Dacky's hit the crossbar with a header that McGillivray's beaten from. He's just hoping that it hits the bar, which it does, and luckily for him it stays out. We've had Joe Bode got into the right position but didn't make sufficient contact in the 6-yard box, and McGillivray probably made it look like a harder save than it was in truth. And then obviously the goal comes right at the end. So we were the team that were doing the pressing. We were the team that were being forward thinking, it felt like to me, and we were the team that were playing the game in better areas. I think if you look at MK Dons in terms of what you'd label chances or even half chances in that second 45, all I can recall is the free kick that they smacked against the wall.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can't recall them getting in behind or getting crosses in, and, you know, it like skidding across the 6-yard box or anything like that. Other than the free kick, I can't think of any remote.
Biggest moment of alarm was when Tate Holtam sliced the clearance, because it was played back to him on his left foot, and we got away with it. And I think that was, I mean, you earn your own luck that time. I think it would have been very harsh on Tate if they'd made something of that. But if that's the most danger you're under over 45 minutes, then you're the team that's you know, more inclined to win the football match, I think.
I think if you take Holtam, the nerves must have been absolutely running through his stomach beforehand. But to have that quiet a game on your league debut and to come out 1-0 winners with a goal at the Raynham end by a hero, like, you probably couldn't script it any better. I suppose the only thing is if they got the other end and he pulls off a worldie of a save, that would be the only thing that would have topped it for Tate, but I'm sure he would have been happy to
be a spectator, essentially.
Yeah, he was.
He was. He's done that. Apart from coming
was spot on as
his
well.
kicking was really good, and almost we felt like a new technique. There was a couple of times I think Hutton said get it higher, but it was almost like he was challenging himself to get it just high enough to beat the defenders, but be flat enough for people to be able to run in behind. And there was one great ball first half that he played to Aaron Rowe's feet.
The one where he shanked it to the left.
He did shank it, so what are you talking about? He's a modern keeper.
Yeah, his distribution was really good though, and I think Morris's distribution is good, but Tate, it seems to be on a different level almost.
Do you think that's generational because he's been brought up in the modern game? Whereas Glenn, when he started out probably 25 years ago, keepers were keepers and they were tasked with stopping the other team scoring more than having to play and be almost a sweeper keeper. That's the face that we see.
He just seems to have a different kicking style as well. But
it's almost like Ronaldo, wasn't it? It felt like where he almost like he was kicking through the valve a little bit.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but
because I'm a free kick specialist.
He's like really composed though. Like I said, he didn't really have to do anything, but you know, even the little bits that he had to do, the communication and stuff. For someone making his league debut, I don't think you could have asked much more from him, to be fair.
And I think at one point we had four 4 homegrown players on the pitch together, which obviously is Bradley Dack, Joe Bode, Sam Gale and Tate making his debut, which is brilliant for the, you know, those people behind the scenes that work very hard in the youth system, and Brian Ball and all the other staff. We know Dacky's, you know, it's been a long time since he's been with us until the summer, but to have 4 people that came through the youth system on the pitch and winning a football match in league football is something to behold and something to cherish. I think
credit to Darren as well, the work that he does with the keepers. You know, it's always he's renowned for being a good goalkeeping coach, and it was pleasing for me to see as well that as soon as that final whistle blew, Darren quickly shook hands with the opposition and then made a beeline for straight away, and the rest of the team did as well. They put an arm around him and congratulated him, and that's good to see as well, because they would have known how he must have been feeling coming into today's game. Probably a bit last minute as well. It's not like he is one of them where he's been thrown in, because it weren't in the preview that Morris was injured or anything. So
that's helped him.
I think it, yeah.
He's had less time to think about it. He's probably just woke up this morning, turned up and they've gone, "You're in," and he's gone, right, okay, game face, straight out, warm up, and it's happening. And
one thing that Darren was saying in the warm up and stuff, he kept, you know, pointing to Tate's head as if to say, you know, keep your concentration, keep your mentality and stuff like that. So, and
he did, didn't he? Because I don't think, you know, after that shank with his left foot second half, he was absolutely immaculate again. The little that he had to do.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I said, communicated well, nice and composed. Distribution was really good, so I don't think you could have asked for much more from him, to be fair, and I hope he enjoys this moment as well.
Sponsors man of the match went to Sam Gale. We didn't agree with that today. Sam was solid enough, but he had a couple of moments where I thought he just was chancy again. And we mentioned, do we think he's doing that because he's on his natural side now? Because it seems that he's taking more risks because he can naturally step out onto the touchline and use his pace to get away from centre forwards. Where I think when he was the left-sided centre back, when we had Andy Smith in the team, I think he was almost making sure that his passing was solid and his clearances were on point and that type of thing. And it's no bad thing. Like, Sam Gale wasn't bad today, but we said we thought the captain was certainly out of possession, was as good as we've seen him for a long time. Marnie Little.
One thing I didn't realise, just going back to Gale, is how quick he
it's ridiculously
like, especially
quick,
like running forward with the ball.
He doesn't seem any slower with it.
No, you can see him like tracking back and like covering, and he's got that yard of pace. But I didn't realise that over a distance with the ball, he's really good at carrying it out with pace as well. So I think with him on that side and someone like Hutton or Jaden Clark on the wing or wing back, that's going to only help them as well, so you can look to play that ball into the area for them to run onto.
And also it means that because he is that quick and he can get himself out of trouble, like you say, when Hutz is playing or whoever it is, you can almost go to a back four and he becomes a right back, which allows the wing back, whoever it is, to push on and almost be a winger like we've seen, which is another string to our bow.
I've got to mention about his dark arts as well.
I'm going to let you say that. I was going to get to it, but you saw it a couple of times, and to be 18 and not have any sort of worries about doing that is absolutely
which is a
superb.
good thing. But yeah, so an MK Dons player was down injured yet again. Sam Gale used it as an opportunity to have a swig of the keeper's drink and then
empty the contents
out, which I thought was, I'd say, brilliant gamesmanship. It's the opposite of fair play, really, but you know.
It's not cheating, but it's he's probably stretching the boundaries.
I think he's managed to have a few MK Dons fans on strings at the end as well.
Yeah, I didn't see what was going on. You saw it more than I did. I think I was too busy watching Bradley Dack walk in front of the rain event, and it's brilliant to see. Like I say, no fear, Bode as well.
And hope they have a good journey.
Saying safe drive. I'm sure that's what it was. We have to talk about Bradley Dack because we've not been able to talk about Bradley Dack enough. Certainly in a positive sense since he came back. Purely because he's not played enough football. And we know when he arrived in the summer that Mark Bonner said there was a plan of action that meant we probably wouldn't see the best of Dacky until the second half of the season. Well, we're now in the final 5 games. Was that Bradley Dack's best performance back in Gills' shirt? Because he completely changed the game, how it was played. And there was one pass particularly with his left foot where he span it between the centre half and the fullback out to Remo Hutton. I don't think there's another player in the Gillingham squad that sees that pass, let alone manages to execute it as well as he did.
No, I agree with you that like the technique was brilliant, and by far his best appearance in a Gills shirt since returning back in the summer. But yeah, it was good to see, and the way that he's come back to us as an experienced player now. He's played at championship level, probably should have played Premier League if it weren't for the injuries. And
Yep,
you can
totally agree.
You can see him directing people, telling people where they need to be, and he was involved with the free kick as to who needs to go where. And I think there was another set piece as well where you could see him directing people. And
he's clever because he just goes and stands offside. I've noticed.
Yeah,
he goes and stands right in the middle of the 6-yard box, offside, right in front of the keeper's eye line. And it's from there where he scores the winner. But he had a chance, a half chance, I'm going to call it. It's not a proper chance, and like we've said, and he just got himself onside. And he can't do any more with the header, can he?
No, he's done everything that he needs to do. Just got the flick on it, and yeah, it's graced the top of the bar. But yeah, no, it's one of them moments right at the end as well, where the header, Clark whips it in, Masterson heads it back across. Dack had to take a touch, and then it's one of them moments in football where it almost felt as if time stood still.
Yeah, it all went a bit slow.
From when he touched it to the ball hitting the back of the net, and then once the ball goes in, it's just pandemonium from everyone. And we've missed moments like that, and
I bet he's missed moments like that, to be fair and all, because I don't know when his last goal was for Sunderland or Blackburn, but it's got to have been a year or more ago, and to have done it in front of the Rainham end in the last minute to win a football match is boy's own stuff, isn't it? Like, and we said coming out of the ground, like, we never expected to see Dacky in a Gillingham shirt ever again, and we wouldn't have done if he'd not had 2 ACL injuries, because like you said, he'd probably be gracing the Premier League, or at least still be in the Championship now, because he's 31. But to have him back, and we know it's not worked, the bigger picture, let's not pretend it hasn't worked this season, but I think for me that cameo says if you can keep him fit with another pre-season, he's very good in this league. I'm not going to say he's the best player in the division, but I think he's a cut above most in the division if you can keep him fit.
I mean, when he first came in, kind of the vision that I had and what he would bring into the squad we had at the time would almost be that him and Johnny Williams almost done like a job share kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because both, are the wrong age of 30, no disrespect to them, their legs are going a bit, but they've got the quality at this level to be able to win games and
pick a pass, unlock a defence, that type of thing,
So there's no reason why going forward, if we can find a way to make it work, then hopefully we'll be up the right end of the table. But obviously there's a lot of other factors that need to go into that as well.
Yeah, Dacky might get other offers, you never know, do you? This is the thing, it might not be right for Dacky, it doesn't have to just be right for us, but it would be lovely if we could see Dacky in a good Gillingham side again, like we saw him when he was Player of the Year in League One back in 2015-16 and that type of thing. We know it's not going to be exactly the same, but I certainly saw enough today, and I get that it's only half an hour against a poor team, but there was certainly stuff that I saw that says he can still have an impact on this football club moving forward beyond the end of the season.
One player that we just kind of touched upon that we've then moved on from, having spoken about Bradley Dack, was our choice of man of the match today, which was Armani Little.
Absolutely.
That was our choice, and that was more for his defensive break-up play rather than
with the ball.
Yeah, I thought he just covered a load of ground. He just read the game really well, I thought. And
yeah, he just kept us moving, didn't he? He kept us on the front foot, like it was a foot in there or a block there. There was one I remember second half where he must have ran 60 yards and he managed to get a double ricochet which earned us a corner. I mean, fair play, even if it goes out for a goal kick, but to win the set piece for us was the bonus. But almost, dare I say it, like his performances early in the season, where just Duracell bunny type situation. I mean, we don't get running stats at this level, certainly on the apps I look at, but I would wonder what they were. It must have been a phenomenal effort from him, and it weren't cold out there today, was it, as well? But yeah, all in all, a really good day. Not because of the performance, because I think we've been better under Gareth Ainsworth, I think, but because of 3 points. Ainsworth's first win, we got to see a fist bump from Gareth.
It's winning a different way as well. It's winning when you're not playing well, and I think that's something that we haven't done enough, and why the past 2 seasons we've started off really well, and then once the nitty-gritty has got into the season, we've tailed off and we've not earned them scrappy wins. And we need that mixture of scrappy wins and decent football and entertaining football. You're not going to get the same performance every week. It's finding different ways to win, and hopefully we have that under Ainsworth and with a long time to prepare for next season as well.
That's it, yeah. And he's doing all that he can to give all these players a chance to prove one way or the other whether they want to be part of the journey that he talks about, or whether they're just simply not good enough or the right fit. But at the moment, we're certainly getting more right than wrong. And yeah, Armani Little, our man of the match. Bradley Dack, a close second, purely because how much he changed the football match and ultimately won us. But they're the moments you live for as a football fan. Certainly a lower league football fan, I think, because the highs are more sporadic than the lows. Let's not pretend otherwise. It's not like if you're a Man City fan or historically a Man United or Arsenal fan up in the Premier League where you win trophy after trophy every season.
Good atmosphere coming out of the grounds as well.
Lovely, really good. Yeah.
Similar for me is when a few years back Sean Williams got that last minute winner against Carlisle, and it was similar scenes then.
Yes, I know what you mean. I think there was another one when he got another last minute winner against Harrogate the season after, didn't he? Early on in the campaign as well. Yeah,
similar to them moments, and like you say there, what you live for as a football fan. Everyone comes out smiling and looking forward to the rest of the weekend, looking forward to the next game, whether that's away to Cheltenham or
home to Wimbledon.
Yeah,
and it's almost like now we don't want the season to end, but we know it's not been good enough, so we're not sitting here pretending that we're something we're not. But 4 of our own have helped us win a football match. Bradley Dack is back and finally had made a positive impact on a football result for us. Tate Holtam kept a clean sheet. Sam Gale was doing Sam Gale things. So it's been a really good afternoon. It's been a really good weekend. Appreciate the feedback as well. All the support, like we always say, it doesn't go unnoticed on the Matchday Live, the preview shows, these review shows. Be back later in the week. Not sure what the format's going to be because it's a double game weekend with Easter. I'm going to leave you with the final 3 words from young Ava in the back, and we will see you later in the week. But until then...